Here I'm is, and what is the biz? The biz is break on through. And we are live, and that is no kind of jive. Hello, everybody. Boy, I got a lot to talk about tonight. Oh, well. I'm going to let everybody get in the house for a minute. I'll tell you, I took an extra day from jumping right back head first into the working class and stayed at home Monday, but ended up working even harder doing stuff around here in the house with me and the First Lady, that when I went back to work today, I felt even more tired than I did when I stepped out of the van very, very early Sunday morning. But you know what? As Little Coleman says, it's a happy day. To be honest with you, I don't even like to make it sound like I'm complaining. Oh, I got so much to do. I got a lot to do. Because we all know that could go the other way. And you not have anything to do. That would drive me crazy. All right, a few announcements before we get started here. Please do not forget there is a GoFundMe currently in operation for our good pal Necro Butcher, who is still over in Japan. He shattered his hip bone and will be undergoing surgery and is going to have to do rehab while he's there. So he's going to be out of work for a while. So if you can lend a hand in any way, shape, or form, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, man, anything you can do will help our pal. So please contribute. Falls Count Anywhere on CD, about to run out of print. We may have to go for a second printing, I'm not sure. But we're working on the LP as we speak. And of course, in anything, anything in Antiseen world, there's always a snag. So we're probably looking at late summer release now. Speaking of summer, it ain't going to be no bummer. Because June 22nd, we will be in Spartanburg, South Carolina at Ground Zero for their 28th year anniversary party. Can you dig that? 28 years. And on that same bill as Antiseen is also J.D. Pincus and our buddies from old Nolans, I Hate God, will be on that bill now too. So, what are you waiting for? Go get your TKs tonight. All right. I conducted a small poll today. My brother has championed that first Antiseen design that I ever drew. We did our first shirt, I guess, in 84 or 85. Greg still has the original piece of artwork that I did. And occasionally he burns screens from it. He made himself a dual print where, it's offset a little bit. I posted a picture of it. And I was just wondering if people would like that. And I think my right-hand man on stage, Walt Wheat, said that a photo with or picture with that many details is a little bit too busy for that dual band, and that was my thoughts right when I saw it. So I agree. The consensus in the poll, it almost seems like it's split down the middle, but we're going with executive decision. Prez makes the call. We are going with the regular single print. But I'll tell you something I'm going to do. Now, I don't know when I'm going to make this pre-sale available, but I'm going to do white shirts and yellow shirts, black print or red print. Now, how's that for a decision to make? 4 variants to choose from. Always thinking of the people. So how's that sound to everybody? You know what's coming next. Brad says, did we ever do just an Antiseen logo shirt? Yeah, we've done that several times. Might be time to bring one back, huh? Well, Terry, we're not doing them on black shirts. They got to be light colored shirts. So we're doing black ink or red ink. That's how that's working. Speaking of Terry Myers, we saw him this weekend. Speaking of Brad Mullins, I saw you this weekend, but I didn't get to talk to you any. Anyway, I hope y'all had fun. But I got 2 more announcements, which I'm going to wait until the end of the broadcast to lay these on you. But man, I got to tell you, I know everybody wants to hear the story, and man, I'm here to tell it. Antiseen and Abdullah the Butcher. How does it happen? How does it happen? A year ago, we played in Atlanta opening for Fear. And a feller came up to me and says, hey man, my dad is good friends with Abdullah the Butcher. Man, and next time y'all come to town, I'm going to bring him out. No, I'm not trying to say, the guy was pulling my leg or jiving me, but I was just like, yeah, well, we'll see. Turns out his dad was a wrestler himself. And I'm going to apologize right now that I don't got everybody's name straight, but I know his dad's name was Donnie. But anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Well, apparently these fellas come into the Star Bar, which we're in Atlanta on a Wednesday night. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I did not expect a whole lot out of a Wednesday night show. But apparently these guys came in and they went straight to Mondo and said they needed to see me. And Mondo's like, well, what's it about? And he's like, well, we got Abdullah the Butcher here. And so a little bit later, I go talk to Mondo, and he's like, man, come here. And I'm like, what? He says, some dudes are here and say they've got Abdullah the Butcher with them. I wasn't even thinking about the conversation I had with these fellers a year ago. So I just I looked at Mondo and I was real snarky ass way. He says, well, then tell him to bring him in here. Mr. Donnie, manager of the Harley Davidson crew. Okay. Mondo will know all the facts. I'll fill them in whenever he fills them in to me here. But anyway, I go back in the dressing room. Barry's in there. We're both just sitting down. And all of a sudden, Malcolm comes to the doorway. His eyes this big around. And he says, Abdullah the Butcher is coming down the hallway now. So I stand up. I put on my Antiseen baseball jersey. I want to look presentable. When Mr. Abdullah comes walking in, I'm standing in the middle of the room to greet him. And we heard him speak as he's coming down the hall before we'd seen him. And then me and Barry looked at each other like, man, it's him. So here he comes. He comes walking in. Miss Malika's with him. Donnie's with him. Donnie's son, another feller. All nice people. And Abby walks straight to me, and he's got a walker now, but he comes straight to me. Derek. It was me, Don, and his dad. Donnie got Abdullah. All right, Derek. Derek Wilson's one of the guys that had this all happen. Derek, I apologize for not having y'all's names straight before I went live. But you know, old JC flies by the seat of his pants when he gets on here. But, so we got Abby a seat, and we're all sitting around, you know, talking. And man, I just know me, Walt, Mondo, Malcolm, and Barry were like giddy kids. And we cannot believe that, you know, one of our wrestling heroes is sitting right in here in our dressing room at our show. And so immediately he wanted to start discussing an angle for us to do, you know, for the show. And man, I tell you, it did not escape me that I was sitting down next to a guy mapping out our angle. Like the whole time in my head I'm going, I'm trying to map out an angle with Abdullah the Butcher. Maybe I had to repeat stuff because I was so giddy at this point. I can't believe it. So, you know, we had a lot of talk, and then we just started talking about things, and man, it was just, it's kind of like those shoot interviews, man. I could just sit and listen to these guys talk without interacting at all, just listening. And so we finally decided that we'd get Donnie involved, and I would call Donnie on stage and say, Donnie, I understand you brought something with you tonight. It's something that I've been, you know, threatening these people for decades, you know, with. I want you to go ahead and bring that out, you know. It's like he brings it out. Abby's covered in a towel, and the stage is, I mean, it's not real high, but it's got a rickety little step to go on. So he'd just stay on the floor, and I'd come down to him. And so I come down, and, you know, Donnie's walking him out, and then I step in down there, and I get the towel. I'm talking to the crowd, telling them I told you I'd do what I said I was going to do, all whatever. And I slowly pull the towel up, and it's and then the crowd just starts chanting Abdullah, Abdullah, and then we play Dear Abby, which is a cozy 1 minute 20 seconds. And Malcolm had the clear thought to say, let's play it again. The crowd was all about it. Like, yeah, play Dear Abby again. So we played Dear Abby again. And, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is the honest truth. And I told Miss Malika this as we were sitting there. I said, I have never been so excited to get on stage and play as I am right now. And that's the truth, y'all, man. I was just like, I don't know. It was like all the worrying and hassling with stuff just kind of stopped for a second, and everything went off without a hitch, and the crowd loved it. The guys from the Star Bar were just as giddy as we were. And I'm going to tell you people from Atlanta, the main man at the Star Bar told me, he says, from here on, Antiseen plays Atlanta, you play here. And I'm like, sounds good to me. Even though we do have to deviate from that, which I'll explain later. But I talked with Miss Malinka in length at the end of the night, and you were going to see more teamings with Antiseen and Abdullah the Butcher. Now, in what capacity? Well, that just remains to be seen. But once the death train starts rolling, man, we pick up some steam and things happen. Greg Crawford says, the way you talk about Abby is what you and Antiseen do for us. Well, Greg, that makes me feel good, man. I appreciate that a whole lot. And so, I'm going to tell you, though, had we known Abby was coming, half the merchandise stand would have been cleared off. And after, I did like the fact that not much of the crowd knew he was there yet. By the time we went on. And when he came out, it really was a surprise. That part was great. But in the future, had we known, we would have had a place for him after the show where he could have sold pictures. So, if Antiseen's in Atlanta, who knows? It may happen in Charlotte somewhere. Who knows where it may happen? Abdullah the Butcher's always got a spot beside us at our merch table where he can sell pictures and autographs and photos. And I'm sure that you, the Antiseen fans, would not mind that one bit. Give me some thumbs. Give me some of them hearts, too. I need hearts and thumbs. Well, man, okay, so that's Wednesday night. So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday to go now. It's like, dang. How can you have a night that big on the first show? But then it was on to Chattanooga, where we got to play with our old pal, Sweet Georgia Brown, and Josh Mayfield and his Horse Thieves. Both former Hell Stomper alumni in Chattanooga town. The crowd was a bit smaller than the last time we played there, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that Chattanooga got ripped up pretty bad Wednesday night with the storms and stuff, and that's what my main man at Cherry Street Tavern said. Which, by the way, we love Cherry Street Tavern. When we get there, we look at the stage like, well, how are we gonna do this? But we manage, and it ends up being a lot of fun. But we also had the pleasure of the Zillas. Clinton and Val Zilla made it all the way from Kentucky Town all the way to Chattanooga, Tennessee. They did some filming. So we'll see if anything comes of that later. Maybe a song here and there. Let's just see how it looks. Always a great time hanging out with the Zillas. I wish they could have been in Atlanta. But, so from Chattanooga, we take the 8-hour drive to Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington, another favorite town of ours. Now, kind of the same deal, small crowd, but man, this was an enthusiastic. You know, I'm going to tell y'all, and this is the honest truth, and people that play in bands, I don't know if all of them will admit it, but it's way more fun playing to a crowd of 50 or 60 people that are going crazy as it is to 100 or 200 that are just kind of standing there staring at you. But Wilmington at Reggie's, another fun time with two of our favorite bands to play with, Kiff and Street Clones. So, and we had our good friend Chip Whitesides from Chronic Disorder. He was moving his daughter down there for college, and him and his whole family stopped by. That was quite a surprise. So yeah, man, we're on show number 3, and man, we're having a ball. It's fun, man. And Sean wants to know when we're coming back to Savannah. Well, we'll see about that, Sean. Who knows? It may be sooner than you think. Play the new Jinx. There's a new Jinx, huh? Okay. I like the old Jinx. But, anyway. So then we're going from Wilmington to Raleigh. And man, Raleigh's always like a homecoming type gig for us, man, because we have so many friends up there. And my brother lives up there. The place we played was in the backyard of Aardvark Screen Printing. And I know you think, oh, damn, man, you're just exaggerating. Nope, I'm talking about you could throw a bottle from Greg's outside deck and hit the side of the building of the place we played. So, yeah, it was really in the backyard. And again, we played with Kiff, and we got to see my brother's band, Dallas Tetanus, for the very first time. And I'm going to tell you something. My brother told me that he is the main songwriter in the band. I'll tell you, the guy can make some good riffs now. And Glenn Heinzman, our pal, our Dixie Dregs pal, drove all the way from Charlotte to be there, which we appreciate. Oh, and I forgot to tell y'all, when we played Atlanta, there was a couple of fellers that drove all the way up from Miami to see us. Now, see, because we don't play that often, right? We're not like some bands that, we tour half the year and we do it every year and you can see us. But we have people traveling from insane distances. That last run we did, Eric Reno came to York, Pennsylvania from New Hampshire. See, that's dedication. There were bands I would have done that for in my time. There's bands I did do that for in my time. But even this far into get 41 year, we're working on year 41 now. It never goes unappreciated or taken for granted. Amy and Terry Myers came from Virginia. There's just so many people there to talk to, and I know, like a lot of before the show, people, unless there's nowhere for me to go. But if I got somewhere to go, man, I just go and just sit. Oh, what are you, a rock star? No, I'm trying to be able to do the show. Because if I don't, man, I'll be out there talking, yelling over a band. You get me and my brother together, we're bound to start yelling wrestling speeches and stuff, and then there will be no voice by showtime. Oh, and there's Slayer Doug. Yeah, Slayer Doug got on stage with Tiff both nights. Great to see that again. I guess the point I'm making is like we had a great time this weekend, man. The next time you get to see us, June 22nd, Ground Zero in Spartanburg, South Carolina, man. I suggest if you can make it, make it. Can you dig it? Man, I will tell you something. I tell you something I want to talk about. I may have talked about this before. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because I think I've had a pretty positive break on through. And, like my little grandson saying, happy day. It's a happy day. Papa got him some new Skechers. So, yeah, happiness abounds. But, man, there's just... Oh, yeah, and Brandon, our road dog Brandon, came to see us in Chattanooga as well. Man, talk about... Every show was like some kind of small family reunion, man. But there's something that happens occasionally. And, yeah, happy scene. But I'll keep this brief because I don't want to bring it all down. But man, sometimes you meet a person that has a rap. Now I don't mind talking to people, and sometimes when you say something and it's complimentary, I have no problem accepting compliments or even giving details that I can think of, but some people will come to you, and I've had it, it wasn't just this weekend, though. It's happened a lot over 40 years, but someone just comes up and says something to you, you respond, they say it again, the same thing, and you respond again. You wander off for about 20, 25 minutes, and then you see them, and they say it again, word for word. And man, once this happens about 5 times, for me anyway, that's when it kind of stops being complimentary and starts to look like it's like some kind of test of patience. And when it gets to a certain number, then I'll comment. I had that happen at one of these shows, and I just wonder, and like it was like they had a little cartridge, and they recorded. Okay, yeah, I saw you here. You did this, blah blah blah. You don't remember me, but I remember you, blah blah blah. And then that's all that's on the cartridge, and then the cartridge goes in, click, and it plays. So to the end, and then comes back again. When we first started coming back to play after the scamdemic, there was a couple that we had never seen before, but I don't know, that was doing that shit to me. And when I got home that night, I said to the First Lady, I said, I am seriously considering whether we should even play live anymore. I'm trying not to be the hothead that I'm known to be. I'm trying to be a much more patient, calm, unimpeachable president for life. But man, what is it that makes people do that? Does anybody know? Well, anyway, okay. I'm getting off that. What I basically want to say is we had a hell of a time this past week, and thank you to every single individual, to all the bands that played with us, to all the dance halls that allowed us to have our shindig within their walls. We appreciate it. We appreciate it like so much I don't even know if I can tell you enough how much we appreciate it. But we do. And it's plain and simple. Thank you, Brad. I was hoping to get to talk to you. I did see you in there, and I saw you across the room talking to Greg. But I was just sitting in that room huffing peppermint oil and trying to drink as much water as I could and staying quiet. But it's not I'm so important, I'm a rock star. It's really I can't get out there and start blabbing and yelling and talking and everything before we play. So that's the way that goes. But my voice remained strong the entire trip, and for that, I am thankful. This weekend was quite the blessing. And I thank God for all the safe delivery of everyone going home, everyone coming to the shows and getting back home, all of my band members getting back to their homes, and our crew. So, yes. I remember I said something about us playing Atlanta again. We're going to play Atlanta on September 1st. At the Masquerade. Because we are going to be part of the 2024 return of the Beer Olympics. Are y'all able to dig that? 3 nights. And on the night we play, on the Sunday night, the last night of the whole shebang, we are next to the last group on the whole evening. We are playing right before the headliners, the organizers, the anti-heroes. So, man, it's 2 antis in a row. Antiseen, anti-heroes. There's more anti than you know what to do with. So get your tickets because they are predicting a sellout. Can you dig it? A sellout. Well, John's already got his weekend pass. He ain't worried about it. He knows he's in. He knows he's there. Beer Olympics. So, man, there's 2 more shots of you getting to see the world's greatest rock and roll band. June 22nd, Ground Zero with EHG and JDP and Antiseen. September 1st, the Masquerade in Atlanta, Georgia, 2024 Beer Olympics. I hope to see all of you there. I hope every one of y'all are there. The night before us, the headliners are Negative Approach, our good pals. What do you think of that? The two groups that played with us in Atlanta, Strike First and Rotten Stitches. They're both playing on the Friday night. Well, the Joe Young Memorial T-shirt is on pre-sale now. Is Rotten Stitches not what I said? I thought I said Rotten Stitches. I don't know. But anyway, the Joe Young Memorial T-shirt. 10 years since the passing of Mighty Joe. And I have put the Memorial T-shirt on a pre-sale that will end on the 18th. But if I forget to take it down that Saturday night, then it'll be up Sunday. Y'all have a little bit more time to get it. But once it's down, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not printing these again. Okay? This is it. So if you want one of those memorial t-shirts here at the 10-year mark, get it before May 18th. What's the date? The 14th? You got 4 more days to get it. Big Cartel Store. Antiseen Store.bigcartel.com. Oh, another announcement right quick. This Saturday on Crazy Train Radio. There's a link for it on our page, but they're going to be playing the 1976 classic Eaten Alive. That stars our good friend Janice Blythe. And she is going to be on the station while they're playing the movie, commenting and answering questions. So if you have time, you got you a nice little hour and a half, get on there and ask some questions and watch Eaten Alive. A great, great, great horror flick from a time when they knew how to make a damn horror flick. You hear me talking to you? Well, I'll tell y'all what, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. But I got one more announcement. But first I'm going to say what I always say when I sign off, because I mean it. I mean it. It's not my gimmick. I just mean it. I appreciate y'all coming here on every Tuesday and hanging out with me for a little bit. Listening to me talk. Allowing me to advertise. Allowing me to scrutinize, to realize, to minimize, to maximize any thought that comes through my head and out my mouth. And I know there's times when it's a damn exercise maybe to stick with me the whole time, but for the most part, I try to make it to where you don't regret it. But once again, thanks. And thanks to everyone that made this this past run we did an amazing time. From myself, Sir Barry Hannibal, Malcolm Tent, Walt Wheat, and Mondo Braswell, I say thank you. And I want to see you here next week, Tuesday, at 7:30. You hear me? You hear me talking about 7:30? Did y'all hear me say 7:30? I need some thumbs, some hearts or something when I say 7:30. Because next week, at 7:30 right here on Break On Through, we are going to have the one, the only, Mr. Number One, George South. And that is no lie. Can you dig it?